Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Gervonta Davis amongst a large list of supporters standing solidly on the side of Canelo Alvarez. Throughout the years, the Mexican native has become one of the most well-known and well-respected fighters in all of boxing. His rise to the top of the pugilistic sport, however, coincides with his fairly lopsided majority decision loss at the hands of Floyd Mayweather in 2013. Since then, Alvarez has gone undefeated in his next 16 consecutive fights. Along the way, he snagged world titles in various weight classes, while making vast improvements. Gervonta Davis admittedly has become a huge fan of Alvarez. Although Davis has done his best to protect his glistening 26-0 record, the heavy-hitting multiple-division titlist believed that Alvarez has become an entirely different animal following his decisive loss at the hands of Mayweather nearly a decade ago. "I like Alvarez as a fighter," said Gervonta Davis during an interview with Final Boxing. "He is tough. He learned a lot from his loss from Floyd. It made him a better fighter." Alvarez now 31. He is a boxing biggest star. Over the span of 12 months, give or take, Alvarez truncated the world title reign of every 168-pound belt holder in the world. With victories over Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders and Kelly Plant, Alvarez became the first undisputed super middleweight champion of all time. In effort to maintain his lofty status on boxing's mountain top, Alvarez will move up in weight to take on current WBA light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol. As the Mexican project continues to push his physical limits, Davis sits back in awe and boasts his overall accomplishments and his impressive skill set. Although Davis has found his name plastered on several credible pound-for-pound lists, he believes that no one should be placed above Alvarez. Pound for pound, he needs to be number one, Davis said. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 1000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. Gervonta Davis is arguably a top 10 pound-for-pound in world boxing. He just agreed to terms of a contract to fight Rolando Romero in the lightweight division. ESPN's Mike Coppinger had the scope of the multiple-time world champion, who has belts in 3 different weight classes, signed a contract to face Rolando Romero in the lightweight bout that is set to take place on May 28. Even though the WBA ordered this fight back in January, the final agreement was set for the middle of 2022. In previous month, these two undefeated fighters were supposed to fight on December 5, 2021 in Los Angeles. However, Romero was forcibly removed from this fight after sexual assault allegations were filed against him. As a result, Davis fought Isaac Cruz and won by unanimous decision despite fighting to the limit on that accusation. After a long investigation conducted by the Henderson Police Department in Nevada, no further charges were filed against Romero. Evidence was insufficient against Romero in order to charge him for actual sexual assault. Now that his name is clear, Romero is coming from 2 consecutive TKO wins against Avery Sparrow and Anthony Igget. Rolly is arguably the best contender who can currently fight against Davis, but he is still considered one step below Gervonta at the moment. Davis is ready for the new challenge. Gervonta Davis is already set to fight in his 4th straight pay-per-view event. The overwhelming majority of boxing experts around the world consider him a top 10 pound-for-pound boxer, only below the biggest names in the sport such as Canelo Alvarez, Alexander Usyk or Tyson Fury. Davis has already held titles at a lightweight, super lightweight and super featherweight divisions. We still don't know where the location of the fight will be, but Showtime Boxing pay-per-view will be one to broadcast the event. Here and hopes for Haney vs George Kambosos Jr. That's the only fight. The matchroom boss wants to settle the undisputed lightweight question, as Hearn is hopeful that he can make a fight between Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. Kambosos is the unified champion, holding belts from all 4 governing bodies, but he is WBC strap, is the franchise champion, while Haney is the standard WBC champion. That means that in order to truly settle the question of an undisputed champion, the pair will have to meet before the belts become dispersed. Ryan Garcia and Vasily Lomachenko were 2 other names in the mix for the fight, but the matchroom boss is still keen to get his champion a bout. We are going to give him every opportunity because we want the fight badly, and Devin said that's the only fight we are focused on right now, Hearn said. June 4th in the proposed date, so we've got 2 or 3 weeks to make the fight, really. There is some time we want to plan Davis' fight for December, so we are happy to wait until June, rather that we get that undisputed fight. Hopefully, we will get it agreed and announced in due course, said Eddie Hearn. New team, same results. Ryan Garcia shakes things up with a new coach ahead of Emmanuel Tagoya fight. It appears as if Ryan Garcia is heading into his return fight on April 9 with a clean slate. It was announced that via a release that Garcia will be moving on from Eddie Reynoso, who will now be working with Joe Guzan. The move takes place just a few weeks before Garcia squares off against Manuel Tagoya inside the Alamodome in San Antonio. I'm excited to announce that I will now be working with Hall of Fame trainer Joe Guzan, in addition to my father, Henry Garcia, Garcia stated in a release. Joe's legendary career spanned several decades working with championship fighters. I worked with Joe when I was growing up, and the 2 of us have maintained a great relationship over the years. I can't wait to pick back up where we left off and to continue this journey together. I'll now be working out of my own gym, Fire King in San Diego, and my goal remains the same, to become a world champion, Garcia said. Based out of Southern California, Guzan is known for working with Gabriel and Rafael Rules, as well as Diego Corrales. The well-dressed trainer has been known to work a lot of repetition and drills in his training. While different from Reynoso, Guzan still maintains a strict approach when it comes to his fighters. His resume and pedigree appears to be good enough for Garcia. Garcia made his pro debut in 2016. In November 2019 and February 2020, Garcia beat Romero, Duno and Francisco Fonseca, following 2 brutal knockouts to win and hold onto the WBC silver lightweight title. He faced his first major test in January 2021, when he beat Luke Campbell via TKO to win the interim WBC lightweight title. This was during a time in which Reynoso was in his corner. Since then, Garcia has taken a break from boxing. In April 2021, he was supposed to fight Javier Fortuna, but backed out to focus on his mental health. Set to return this past November, Garcia would undergo hand surgery. Garcia's father spoke to Boxing Stance regarding the move, stating that the decision resulted from Garcia wanting to be his own man while having the opportunity to train based on his schedule, not the schedule of others. Ryan decided that it was time for him to have his own gym, where he's not confined at a certain schedule and a certain day. It's like, hey, we have a fight coming up, you know. He wanted to build his own brand and make it bigger, said Henry Garcia. I think it's time. It's like when you have an apartment. You get tired of renting, and you want your own place. It's almost like that, the father said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.